Hi and welcome to Country Cooking and Living. Today we are at Walmart, and as you can see, this is the kids section for fishing poles. I'm going to talk about fishing poles today for kids. And there's many different types, as you can see. Each type is for a different age group. And we will be talking about different poles that there is and what kids can do with these poles. The younger ones from 10 and below usually get these type of poles. Each pole can usually hold about 6 to 8 pounds. Those are the kid ones that are about that age, and they work very well. As you get older, into the older age, they get these and these. They're good, they're sturdy, they work well. And if you really want to give them something that's more professional, then you get a rod like these, and then you get the reel, which is way down here, and you put it on it. And these are the mini baits. Each one does it for a different type of fish. And in Kansas, we have it differently than what's in Washington and other places. So we'll talk about that too. But not all fishing poles come with something. These ones do. As you can see. And there's little kid tackle boxes, but some of them do. They work well, but you will not be catching anything that's like 50, 60 pounds, but you can catch a good gear amount. See, the spin wheel says 6 pounds. That's a baby. That's a gallon of milk almost. A bag of potatoes. It is more than that. When you do this, think about all the many different poles and what you want. Each child age group is different. So what these poles are, we're going to be talking about each one of them on Country Cooking and Living. And the types of gear for tackle boxes and how to make it more fun for kids. And the baits and lures. We will be talking about too. This might seem overwhelming, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for everybody to understand. So come along with us and learn about different things of fishing and how to make it fun for your kids of all ages. Hi and welcome back to Country Cooking and Living. We just got back from Walmart and I picked out a couple fishing poles. And before I start, I'd like to say a couple things. Doing this, I got requests. Lots of people asked me about how to pick out the right fishing poles for kids. And there's a couple things that you should think of before going and picking these fishing poles. And there's no like first, second, third, or fourth checklist type of thing, but there is a couple of them. One, always pick the age group that's appropriate for the kid. 2, make sure that it's the skill of the child's level and not just the age group, because one child might be more skilled than the other. 3, make sure it is suitable for children and not for more of an adult. You can pick out a pole and think that it's for a child, and it's really for more like a teenager level. which also comes into the fourth category of is it appropriate for kids? Like the weight carrying it, the supplies that you need to get for it, the length of the pole, all that goes into consideration when you're doing it for children. And when I pick them, I pick for what group of kids I'm buying for. Mostly, I buy these type of poles for teenagers and children that are 10 and younger. The in-between can go in between with the older poles, because by then, kids already know how to fish usually. Now, one of the reasons why we do fishing is because it's easy, it's simple, it brings memories, it brings the kids out to the outdoors, you get fresh air, and sometimes kids learn how to cook the fish, which means they're providing food for their own self or down the road for their future families. So that's why we do it. But you might do it just to go and relax and de-stress. You might not even bring it home. You might just catch them and then release them. But that is your choice. Now, when I go and pick a fishing pole, I make sure that also with this category is, what is the kid wanting to fish? And if you ask a kid, they're going to tell you a big fish. It's just a thing that they do. All kids do it. They don't know what they're doing. Most kids, when they're first learning to fish, they don't know what they're doing. They just want to go and get a fish, and they want it to be a big fish. So you as the parent or the grown-up or the adult need to choose what's appropriate for you and your family and for the kid. When I went to the store when my kids were younger, I knew what exactly I was doing on that category. I wasn't going to pay an arm and a leg. There's no reason for you to go over $25.99 on any pole for a little kid. It needs to be able to cast out easy. It needs to be not where it can be tangled up. And it needs to be efficient for the type of fish that you are wishing to catch. If you think you're going to get like a hammerhead shark, that's not going to happen with a fishing pole like this. If you're thinking that you're going to get panfish, like let's say crappie or saugeye or any of those, yeah, you can. And just because the pole says 6 to 8 pounds does not mean that's not a big fish. That is a huge fish still to a little kid. That is the size of basically a watermelon, a bag of potatoes, and a gallon of milk, or my children being born. I mean, that's the size of a baby. Some of these poles, if you just change the line and stuff that it comes with, you can change it to a 15-pound or a 20-pound, and you can actually get a 18-pound catfish or a bass off of these poles. But you just need to make sure that the pole isn't going to break, and you just need to find out if that pole is that type of fiber type that will work. So I picked 3 poles that would work for me and my family and my friends that I go fishing with. And what we catch over here is saugeye, walleye, bass, catfish, crappie, trout, other panfish, bluegill, sunfish. I mean, there's a long list. And some of these poles, what I do to the kids is I teach them to start the first part, which I think it would be really good if you guys do, is sit down and talk to the kids and tell them, you know, what you wish to do with these poles and how it's going to be. Like, if they think that they're just going to go down there and they're just going to be playing with a pole in the water, you need to tell them, you know, hey, we're going to be going fishing. Do you want to help us? Do you want to help us catch the bigger fish? You know, they'll probably say yeah. And what we usually do is we take the littler kids and we take them and have them catch the, what I call bait fish, which is sunfish and bluegill. and we use those for catfish and bass, and you can catch them around the rocks and the piers, and you just put a worm on the hook and give the kid the pole, and you take them over to the water, and they just up and down the water, and before you know it, you got a fish. Isabella loves to do that. She found it awesome and could catch it really easy and fun, and she was catching them left and right. I try to teach kids this method because it is the easiest and quickest way to get them into fishing, because it's an instant gratification of fishing. You don't have to wait around. It takes within minutes. It's simple, and I'll show you how to do that in this episode too. So I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to show you the 3 fishing poles and what each fishing pole is, and then we'll take a break, and I will show you how to catch fish bait and how I get little kids to learn how to fish that way. It won't be with a child though. Hi, and welcome back to Country Cooking and Living. This is our first fishing pole. It's by Shakespeare. It's a CE dock. This is a really good, simple fishing pole. You can catch trout, panfish, sunfish, bluegill, rock bass, I think it's called perch also, crappie, and bluehead, or bullhead, I mean. That's a catfish type. This is very bendable. It's lightweight. It's also known for ice fishing pole, and it's really good for kids because it's really, really easy to bend, and it's lightweight. It's simple and shiny, and kids like shiny. The pole, when I picked it out, I got it at Cabela's, and you can also get it at Walmart and other places too. And you'll see a theme how I use my poles and what type I get. So this is our first one. Our second one is this one. I got this at Walmart, and this is a fish stick, and it says it's from Bass Pro, but I don't know. It's the same thing. It's easy to cast out for children, and all these fishing poles will be about 8 pounds for the line. They're all fiberglass, and the prices are all about $15.99 to $25.99. And you can see that it's a different color. The fish that you can get on this is panfish, trout, crappie, rock bass, the same thing as the other ones. These are simple and easy to use. But I will be changing the line in mine. As you can see, it's the same type. And the third one I got, that one's more for teenagers. This one's more for the 8 to going to teenagers. The dock one is for more of like a little kid. And that one is, this one is the teenage one. This is the one that's very shiny. It doesn't look like it on the phone or the recording, but it is actually purple-ish. And this one is supposed to be the same thing. It's supposed to be no tangle design, all metal gear. This one's got a 10-pound line, and it comes with pieces of tackle in it, 44 pieces. It's got a warranty for a year, and this one will connect to 5 feet and 6 inches. It's a medium to medium light, and that means that most panfish can be caught, walleye, sockeye, bass, and catfish. So a good size catfish, but not like extremely large, like 20 plus. It would be under 20 plus for a catfish and a bass. that this is supposed to be able to handle. Now, this one will not, but it will handle better than you think. And same thing with that one. The dock is not going to be able to cast out as far. None of these two will cast out that far. This one will. But you got to remember that these are for kids, so they're not going to be able to cast out that well. When I get fishing poles for kids, I let them pick out their fishing poles. And I have them name them so that they know which ones are theirs. And we've named ours. This one is Chupacabra. This one is Barracuda. And this one is Stinger. It's easy for kids to remember. They love naming things. And when you go to the store to pick out their fishing poles, let them pick out their fishing poles. They are wanting to have their own fishing pole. Do not choose it for them. Let them pick it out and let them name it, because they will remember it, and it is a big deal to them. Trust me. That is one of the things that I've learned through friends, family, and my kids, is to pick out the price range you want, what the style you want to get for them, and then say, okay, this is what you got to choose from. And they will pick, and they will be happy with it. They will love it. But if you go and pick something and they don't like it, they're not going to use it. It's that simple. If you go and pick out something thinking, oh yeah, they're going to like this because they're into like this character right now, doesn't mean that down the road they're going to still be in that character. But if they pick it out, they're going to remember it, and they're going to love it no matter what down the road. Where when you pick it out, it's not going to be the same way. So we're going to take a break, and I'm going to reline them